Now let's start from the beginning of the game, though. Alexander Ovechkin, and these comments came to light after the morning skate, and I gotta say, I loved them.
Sure.
You gotta remember too here with Alexander Ovechkin, there is a language barrier. The guy's English is pretty good, but also you've heard Russians speak. I don't have to tell you that the way they say things is different from the way we say things.
You're losing a couple words.
Yeah, like when Russians talk about themselves, they say, "For me, it was," rather than "I."
Also, there's no distinguishing between this and that.
Right.
They don't have. It's just the same thing.
Which, in all honesty, is a lot simpler than the way we do it.
Oh, English is complicated.
English is the most complicated language in the world.
Because there's no patterns.
Yeah, and then you just
no
have
rules.
exceptions for no reason.
Yeah.
Now,
I before E, except after C, and all the other exceptions.
Except when we feel like it.
Yeah. Because shut up. I don't know.
so
is
Ovechkin
America.
said this. I think for them, they are still a young group of guys, and I hope they're going to learn. It's up to them how they want to do it, and if they want to play for yourself, because again, they, them, also not something that. It's up to them how they want to do it, and if they want to play for yourself, or if they want to win a cup, they have to play differently.
Yeah. Do you want to be? Someone posted like a Kyrie Irving quote that was essentially the same thing.
Oh man, the Kyrie story that came out earlier this week, by the way.
What was that?
Did you see that?
Yeah. So,
oh man.
I think it was Jackie McMillan of ESPN. She wrote a great piece on Kyrie Irving's summer and like building the Brooklyn Nets. And there were some stories. It was clearly from the Nets side where like they would be in China over the summer and he would refuse to take his hat off for photos and they'd have to Photoshop it out.
What?
Yeah, just little things.
Why do you got to Photoshop the head out?
Because he wasn't supposed to be wearing the hat during the photo. It was just supposed to be a team photo. You're supposed to take off your hat.
How do you Photoshop a hat out?
They had to Photoshop it out. And then
Oh my God.
they have a whole bunch of things they do pregame in the Nets. Like you have to go through a certain massage therapist, and he just refused to do all of that. And then he had a bunch of episodes, they called it.
In China,
They
right?
wouldn't get in China as well on the road trip. He had episodes where he just gets moody. And they didn't go to specifics about that one. And then, so yeah, everybody thought this would happen. Sorry if I go on a tangent about Kyrie Irving.
This is
But
good.
everybody thought this would happen. But like, everybody thought 40 games in this would happen. Because this is what happened in Boston.
He hadn't played a game yet?
They're 3 games into the season.
three-
and
well,
now
now.
the stories are coming out.
You know
jeez.
you know the quote, "They are who we thought they were."
Oh, Kyrie Irving.
So,
Yeah.
so the best
Kyrie
part
Irving?
about this is that they're hoping that Kevin Durant's influence can calm Kyrie down.
What?
The guy that makes burner accounts, as Keith
And won't play
Blackburn
this
so
year.
lovingly put it, and won't play this year.
Yeah.
But the guy who is the thinnest-skinned, pettiest dude in the NBA,
Yes.
probably in professional sports.
He's okay. He did an interview with Serge Ibaka, so I like
Which
him
was
now.
good.
Yeah,
It
so
was
I like
good.
him now.
Yeah. But the thinking behind is, so DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving, they became best friends during the 2016 Olympics.
Okay.
And then they're like, one day we're going to form a team. And then they actually did it. So the idea, the Brooklyn Nets upper management is hoping that his good friend Kevin Durant is going to be the one who finally calms down Kyrie.
Next year.
no, he's around the team.
Durant's been around the team so
Okay.
far this season. So
Okay.
if he sticks around all year, maybe he'll be the one to calm him down, and we'll get the 2015 Kyrie that stopped the Golden State Warriors. You know,
Right.
It's like asking Matt Cook to tell Tom Wilson to calm down.
essentially.
Like that. Like
Yes.
like Matt Cook's going to be a real good influence on Tom Wilson,
For sure.
or vice versa.
Adam, I'm sure you're excited to get to that.
Whoa. Listen.
Yes. So the quote
Ovechkin
was the juicy
so
stuff.
that yeah, we're saying so that's the juicy quote, and then I'm just going to go through these quotes first, and then we can dissect.
Sure.
People asked Mike Babcock about the Ovechkin quote. You know, he said they got to play differently.
Yep.
Babcock said, "Well, he knows. He lived it.
Mm-hmm.
He was the guy. Then he figured it out. This is what we've got to do to win." I mean, that's why when he sees us, you know, we talked about this last year. Fun to watch 100 miles an hour. But you got to learn how to play right. Everybody, and then this. So that's the part that made the news. But this clip, I think they cut it off too soon. You got to have a quick quote, but the quote that follows it—that's the more important one.
This whole thing was a great example in long quote versus short.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because long quote can be like, "Oh my God, what a dick." A short quote can be, "Oh my God, what a dick." But a long quote, he said, "Everybody in Toronto, this is Babcock, is in a rush all the time. I get it, but that's not pro sport. That's not reality. You've got to keep building and building and building and steady on the rudder and keep going through things." And I have to say this, You had your frustrations with Mike. I think everybody does. I'm sure his players do, but he's absolutely right about that. Everybody in Toronto is in a rush all the time. There's always this thinking in here, and it's weird because when I've lived elsewhere, you lose that mentality a little bit, not because you stop working hard, but because you stop rushing everywhere. You just sort of live differently.
And it's funny, though, as a Torontonian going to New York, I'm just like, oh, shit, I can't even keep up.
No, New York's a next level thing.
It's breakneck. And then, you go almost anywhere else in Canada, except for Montreal, which is just pandemonium at all times.
But Montreal is like a cinema. Like it's just everything is happening all at once, and it's crazy.
And everyone's chain smoking while doing it.
Yeah. The South Park interpretation of French Canada is actually pretty bang on. It was.
It's true. It's very,
just
very true.
Mimes walking around the street.
but Mike's right. We have this attitude, and that's what annoys people so much about Torontonians is that we're always like, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? Instead of taking a breather. You can get the same amount of work done, but Torontonians are like, oh, we need it now. And then Austin Matthews was asked about it, and he said, well, I mean, how many times did they lose to Pittsburgh before they finally broke through? And a lot of people took that as Austin being a dick.
Yes. So here, do you mind if I take that
Please.
one? Okay. So Justin Cuthbert from Yahoo Sports Canada, who I think actually does really good work and is doing really good work with the Leafs.
You think that?
I think that. Wait, what does that mean?
No. You had to specify that you thought that. So
no, because I don't want this to be interpreted as a criticism of him. Because this tweet has 135 retweets, 1,045 likes when I took this screenshot, and it's like no one read it. So Austin Matthews, with really no animosity in his tone. Did you hear what I just said? With really no animosity in his tone. Had this answer for Ovechkin. How many times did they lose to Pittsburgh before finally breaking through? Which is what you just read.
I take that statement as he's agreeing with Ovechkin.
Yes, with no animosity. And Justin included that, I assume, to really emphasize that point, knowing the quote that he was put. And everyone's just like, Matthews completely didn't get it, and this and that. Here's the full thing from Mark Masters. Did Austin Matthews hear what Ovechkin said? Yep. Care to comment? No, not really. Does he agree playoff battle scars help? Yeah. I mean, how many times did they lose to Pittsburgh before they finally broke through? You learn from those experiences. Which was Ovechkin's whole bloody point. Ovechkin conveyed his point properly. Matthews interpreted it properly. The only one who got it wrong was us guys.
Yeah, 100%.
Like the only ones who got it wrong were the fans. Go to bed. Like when the game's done, go to bed.
Yeah.
Last night was a pretty. It was a mess. Like if you're gonna be mad, fine, but at least be right about the reasons.
To be mad.
Why you're mad.
It was even funnier because Marner also spoke on it, and his comments could also be taken
What
in a
he said?
different
He
way.
looked annoyed.
He said, everyone's going to have their opinions on our group. We're a family in this group. We keep everything tight-knit in here, and we don't need to start commenting and get a story outside of it. We're just going to make sure we stay tight in here.
Marner's looked annoyed with every press conference this year, by the way.
Well,
Right.
he hasn't had a fun time, minus the money. But
I think the money's okay.
yeah, the money's fine. The quote there, I mean, that's basically, well, we don't want to cause a distraction, and like even your quote where what you're trying to say is we don't want to cause a distraction, is then dissected and becomes a distraction.
That's the distraction. Yeah.